We'll be ready in a minute. Yep. In a minute, family. We here. If you like the teaching, give a small donation. If not, I understand we'll log off. And we'll just do this for my students in class Saturday and Sunday. If you like the teachings, Cash App $ KG Bay. If you don't like the teachings, we just ask you to log off. That's it. We've been courting everybody for a minute. So if you like the teachings, we ask you to send a small donation to Cash App $ KG Bay. Get some literature. Say something. If not, you will be blocked. You will be blocked. Hope everybody having a good morning. Hope everybody started their day off right. Exercise. Got your vitamins in. You did your meditation. Did your prayer. Drunk your tea. Had your smoothie. All that good stuff. So we give everybody a chance to log in. We're going to deal with some science. And then we're going to eliminate some spookism. And then I challenge everyone to come to ADAPT class Saturday privately on Zoom. I'm going to be highlighting my new book that I gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared, The Messiah Law, and our Moorish al-Salat, which is done a certain way at a certain time. And we don't get on our knees. God and man becomes one. So we stand up and arise. And I'm going to show y'all that everything in the book don't mean shit. A lot of people be going against the prophet. I'm going to show you, you have to study, and just because a person or more, you want to think everything they say is good for you. A lot of people are sending you back to slavery. In this science, they tell you to go to the goddamn city hall and get a mayor's license. That's straight garbage. And our prophet never told nobody to do no dumb shit like that. If that's the case, everything we saying is dumb. The religious rights oversee anything. So if you want to do it with your tribe the right way, you're going to go to the government and buy your wife, like the prophet said, and have a third party in your contract. These facts, man. This, just because people see this, they act like, oh, it's so powerful because this on there. But you ain't read it and you don't understand it and you ain't questioned nothing. I know that for a fact. Because if you did, every more doing this, they're going right to the city hall, buying their wives. Sad as hell. You can't tell me that this right here is teaching what our prophet taught us. And I'm going to show you. I don't even want to open this because a lot of people just buy shit and don't read it. So I'm not even going to open up this read. I know this shit by heart. It's some truth in here mixed in with falsehood, but I know people don't study and they just take shit for value and go put themselves and everybody with them hundreds and hundreds of years back. If y'all haven't caught my new book, this is my new book that I gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared. Very simple. Divine pattern of the Mosaic Tabernacle and our Moorish Salat. I'm going to be going over this Saturday in ADAPT class. Very simple. Very simple. Because people be lying to y'all. And I don't respect no old liars thinking y'all stupid. We going to nip that shit right in the bud. Because it ain't nobody else lying to us. Negroes. Fake ass science talk about Nova Drawley said this. Coming up with that fake ass CM Bay shit. No disrespect to nobody. It's some good shit in there. But when you lie and you talk about you have these degrees and you went to this university and this and that and the other, man, it's easy to look up. So why would our own people lie? And then when somebody asks you about, you say you went where you did this and there's no record of you. Nowhere. Nowhere. You just make shit up. So that means you lying. And your people lying. It's like if I said, yeah, I got a bachelor's degree from Clear University and I got to do a master's degree from Grand Canyon University, and then y'all look me up and they don't have no record of me, not even taking classes, not even attending, that means I'm a liar. So let's deal with some facts. You should want to stand to be corrected. If not, then you operate under a lie. Our prophet Noble Ali did not say go to the city hall, which is the Roman venue, and get a marriage license. That's a fact. That's how I know these Moors ain't read their Moors Quran or study nothing when they talk about they from the temple and they be going to get a marriage license. I said, that shit's stupid. They'll talk all that license shit. Oh, you don't get this license, but them niggas rather go get a marriage license. But then they'll tell you don't get a operator's license and all this. I said, man, y'all fools crazy. We got to bring home corrected concepts. And if it's all in the air, then it's all in your mind. Nothing wrong with that in this electrifying age of information. Yet these correction of concepts are for those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. See, this the shit that should be going viral, not no dumb shit. Nobody making no tic-tac videos with a whole bunch of dumb shit. Just talking. Man, just be talking, man. And I told y'all to check misconceptions that Moors are going to do. They go into the municipalities, they go into the city hall to obtain marriage license. I guarantee you. Any more today that just came into science, I ain't saying what you did before you knew. But I said any more today that's under my auspices, or say they teaching more science, or say they a grand sheik, if you send your people to go get some marriage license from the city hall, you fucked up. You just did. And it's clearly it's misinformation, and it will put you and your family back into slavery. Come on, man. Don't y'all know that? And then you got some saying that Prophet Noble Ali said to do so. We gonna see. That's how you know Moors don't study. This stuff be too simple, man. Do y'all know the oral? All my Moors y'all got Exhumed of the Nation. Y'all got the oral statements. Ask the Moors what was oral statement 239. Ask them. Ask them what was oral statement 239. Do anybody know oral statement 239? Do anybody on here know oral statement 239? When they be talking about that Exhumed of the Nation, when the reason why they ain't gonna go over it, because they burn their fingertips off. Because everything they've been doing in real life, the science is telling them it's wrong. Everything. Not some, not little, every fucking thing. So do anybody on here know oral statement 239? Yes or no? Anybody that on here more that do y'all know oral statement 239? Since everybody like to speak and say some stuff, and I ain't here to argue nobody religion, because I can care less about anybody man-made religion. I don't care about nobody man-made religion. I'll never get into no debate or no conversation with somebody's belief system. I don't care. Make me no difference. Do anybody know oral statement 239? Yes or no? That's on here. I'll wait to see if anybody say something. You damn right, Noble. You damn right. So why would anybody do something different? with more. I don't know no Grand Sheik, or I don't know this, or ain't no temple in my city. But watch this. What do you say? Or the Moors go downtown and buy. Nope, you wrong. Nope. No, we said prophet telling Moors. He said the prophet was telling. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. That's a lie. That's a lie. No, he wasn't. He didn't tell him to do shit. None to go to no goddamn city hall. Okay, yeah. He ain't tell nobody to go to no city hall. Period. And then I got old documents. I got old ceremonies from Detroit. I'm from Flint, Michigan. From my elders in Detroit. I got a whole bunch of tapes. And I got a whole bunch of other documents. That Moore's getting that shit from this here. That's where they getting that from. And I don't need no Budrali to tell me that, or no more. I don't need no more to tell me that. When I tell people about the religious laws, do the Amish go to the city hall? No. Do the Mormons? No. They under their religious laws. I ain't dealing with that. I have nothing to do with more. I promise you, you have to understand it, knowing who you are and your tribe and God's law. Like I said, I don't care what people think. That's why a lot of people out here doing their own thing. That's why I call them rogue Moors. You ask them what temple or what school they study from, nowhere. But they get a whole bunch of stuff, but then they're not Moors in real life. You are Moor by birth, but Moorish. That's the lifestyle. And some Moors didn't want to obey the prophet's orders. So he told the Moors, just like I tell you, you don't want to do what I'm doing. Oh, I want to be by your rules. Where I said, well, go ahead, move out. And that ain't saying what Chris said when Sheik said, when you turn this, hey, get out. No, he said, if you want to abide by the rules and the orders in this house and the discipline in this house, go do your own thing. If you want to go to the European and do all this and think they're going to make you something, go do that. Go do it. So he told the Moors, go ahead, buy your wives from the Europeans. And the prophet was telling the Moors to go and acquire a marriage license since you wasn't heeding to what he said. Just like today, Moors always want to break the law, talking about they some sovereign citizens, doing all. Go do that shit. And when you get in trouble, don't say no Moor told you that. Don't say no Sheik told you that. You got that shit off the internet. And when a Moor gets married, he is to go before his Grand Sheik to perform the marriage obligation. Now, how many Moors on here recently say they want to get married? And they be on my page, because I do marriage unions strictly from our Quran, and I have union papers. You got to understand that. And I'm a notary. It's bonding. We have it in our damn database. That shit's simple. Go get a marriage license, and then when you get divorced, it's a civil contract. All that shit is civil. All of it's civil. Civil. But who am I? And they still wasn't heeding to what the prophet said. And today, more than sit up here and want to argue and just post stuff. And I said, man, I ain't out here to have no pissing contest. Because I know a lot of people say stuff and do different things. I know the internet fake as hell. That I know for sure. And I know grown men locked up and got locked up for doing dumb stuff and sit out here and act like nothing happened. But I know exactly who you are. Every last one of them. Every last one. Taj BC, people listen to him like he is a good God. He doesn't preach the way of our. I don't know. Listen, that's why a lot of times I don't say nobody names. I speak in generalities, and people have to paint a picture. But I tell you one thing about these people that I do know. They were part of it. They got more Zion Temple of America ID. That's why they a lot of people twisting the shit, because they know y'all not connected. You must teach the divine comes first. All that other shit, talk about some this, cancel corporate debt. Man, that's some European sovereign citizen, that goofy ass militia shit. Everybody telling you to do this, cancel corporate debt and do this and file this paperwork. Man, that's a goddamn paper terrorist. I showed everybody the 2022 goddamn domestic terrorist list. I tell people, you got to be connected to the right people. Ain't no Moors getting arrested. I'm in a red state. I know all politicians, goddamn prosecutor, attorneys, judges, every goddamn thing. I lecture at colleges. I'm a member of the Philosophical Research Society. I lecture at all goddamn Catholic churches, all that shit. And I talk just like this. So please. But a lot of people doing things and saying things with no results. I don't care about a whole bunch of stuff. That's like I told y'all the counselor course yesterday. That ain't nothing real. And they went around, those people talk about they some consular courts and they nationalizing people under some fake ass MAC number, which they talk about some more American conflicts, is all fucking gazy. And that bald headed man, which all people they call a Grand Sheik, was doing that shit. And if anybody jump on my page lying, I'll pull out all the documents. I'll pull out the motherfuckers that got in trouble for that shit. And then they be saying, we wasn't, yes you were. They were going around talking about they was nationalizing people under the Moorish American conflict. And you got these fake ass consulates. You got these motherfuckers out here riding around in squad cars. It's just a whole bunch of goofy shit. You got women making ID and all that. Real talk. So I don't care what no other man doing. Those that follow whoever, when the shit happened, there you go. But what you got to see and understand, if things is not right, what a person telling you to doing, and they don't get in trouble, that should be clear for me. Just like if we was in the streets hustling, right? And we selling birds. And every time I get, some shit happen, everybody around me get caught for this dumb shit I have them do, but nothing never happened to me. Everybody be in the streets like, man, something ain't right with Sheik. Like how everybody getting caught, he don't get caught, and when he get caught, he right back out. I don't know. And then I be telling people, man, agent had nothing to do with drugs and stuff. A person can get in trouble and then get everybody caught up because they asked them want to do 6 months. I showed y'all the film of what that COINTELPRO dude got caught with some bullshit and then destroyed damn near the whole motherfucking Panthers. I showed y'all the film. I showed y'all this shit. And you don't think people get people caught up in the RICO law? I showed y'all the film with the lady got arrested live, all that shit. Talk about some POW paperwork. Talk about some goddamn Sharifian officer. I said, man, y'all people is mentally fucking nuts. But who am I? The prophet was telling Moors to go and acquire marriage licenses. You ain't want to listen to what he was saying. You said when a Moor gets married, he is to go before his Grand Sheik to perform the marriage obligation. So everybody Moor be saying they more than all the, but ain't no temple in my city and be on my page. And I done made this universal. Just like if you want to go to the University of Michigan and you stay in Texas and you can go online. I done bridge the gaps. And forget more science. Man, I'm an educator. I teach law, history, everything. The whole resurrection of man. And if a divine minister performs a ceremony, still done before the Grand Sheik. So a divine minister is supposed to be a Grand Sheik. But see, we say, oh, that's why I'm saying, why you got a Grand Sheik and not a divine minister? So what's the purpose of your Grand Sheik? What he gonna do? What your Grand Sheik gonna do? And all your spiritual head got to come from a divine minister. So what is the Grand Sheik gonna do? There ain't nothing. Think about it. If you got to do this spiritual thing with a divine minister. So what, the Grand Sheik just there? See, this shit just like church. No, the Grand Sheik supposed to be a divine minister, period. And they still didn't heed what the prophet's saying. This is a prime example of taking words out of context or putting the people back into slavery due to a lack of sincere study. And whichever or however, neither one is good. And if one wants to say that possibly the oral statements are inaccurate, not able to verify, then no problem. Let's look at what the secret teachings of the Silent Brotherhood of the East say. And then you hear, I done heard some more say, man, my Grand Sheik said we can't touch that. I said, man, that's some stupid shit. That's like Southern Baptist shit, keeping niggas dumb. And the red book, they say is left out. Or it's a continuing of the Circle 7 Quran. And then they try to say it's an adapt reading or study. How then is adapt reading a study? And then that's some damn elementary shit. Talk about adapt reading a study. That's some elementary shit. It's just breaking it down, the Moorish Quran down in simplicity. Please. No adapt reading. That's fucking prerequisites. That's what I teach my elementary students. And you're supposed to put it together. People talk about separately. How you gonna give somebody the Moorish Quran and they don't have the Silent Brotherhood of the East or the Quranic Study Guide or the Catechism to understand the Quran or the Discovery Key questionnaires? I mean, the Divine Creed, our bylaws, our 101s. How? In your Moorish Quran, when it says Joshua, Jesus, reveals the marriage law for man and wife from Allah, page 19 in your booklet. When we talk about the return of the matriarch, I lectured that a long time ago. Now, marriage in the sight of law is but a promise made by man and woman, but the sanction of the priest to live together until death, right? No priest or officer has the power from Allah to bind two souls in wedded love. So what is a marriage tie? It is not what the priest may say or do. There is but one true marriage, and Allah alone can perform this marriage. Moors come together in holy matrimony, matriarchal, and obligate themselves or ourselves, right? Right? A witness to that can be made in the presence of a grand sheikh as a ceremony, just as I stated earlier. A record can also be made in memorial of that. However, and I quote eloquently with a silver tongue, a license is absolutely not involved at all. Today, we don't need that when you're part of a tribe. This is religious laws. This is a fact. The religious rights of the indigenous people. I don't have to make nothing up. I done so many marriage unions with Moors, and then people that just want to do a union. That's not Moors. They say, well, I just still want you to do my union. A lot of people that I deal with, especially from Michigan, they say, well, man, I understand what you're saying, Sheik, but I just want you to do my union. I ain't into that. That's okay. I do business regardless. I don't impose my will on nobody. If you are Moor, I do it the Moorish way. I tell you, you don't need all that. You can get your own paper. Not own paper, but union, and have it in your religious tribe. It's sanctioned. But I've done so many marriages, you know. I do what the people ask me to do. But if you're Moor, I explain it to you. If you identify, because everybody don't. I'm only talking to those that do. I don't go out and try to impose my will on people that's why. A witness to that can be made in presence of a grand sheikh, and at the ceremony, just as above. A record can also be made in memory of that. However, a license is absolutely not involved at all. That process involving a license is what we like to call European Union Society activity. When Moors do it, and they absolutely put themselves in a false jurisdiction, what we like to call willingly or willing obligor. Excuse me. Just like when people jump on Instagram and you see all those Negro people, whoever, all different nationalities, and they say Instagram and Facebook can't use this. Yes, they do. You jumped on there as a willing obligor, so they have every right. You didn't read the contract. Obtaining a license from a corporate state, city, county, municipality in order to be married or otherwise is absurd for Moors to do. And today, I ain't talking about nothing you did back then. In fact, if you know the definition of a license, you will quickly recognize you and your children are being married to a third party. We always talk about third parties, and you don't have to bring a third party in your contract if you understand this. You can act, this is just elementary law. You will understand that the state, a corporate state, and that a municipality, which is a Roman venue per se. A license from them is recorded in the Department of Orphans. Look it up. And people who know who they are not being who they are under their own customs and laws, and are of minor minds, which they call minorities in this context. And when contracting and licensing under another jurisdiction in this context, Moors, please stay in the right context. They are, and you are orphans in another's jurisdiction. Excuse me. And even upon what you think is a divorce, you are only altering the contract. And that's a fact at law. Remember that you altering the contract when you get married. Think about it. When you think about the marriage license and a lot of things, and see, it's no disrespect to no one, but you should just want to know. That's why I said a lot of people give you truth when I say I read and study everything. You have to. You have to be able to dissect truth and falsehood. But then when the trick comes, when people try to say after they gave you a little bit of understanding, they try to throw, okay, now I'm going to do this and I can make you this and I can assign this and do all that. No, no, no. That's where you got to slow down at. That's where you got to slow down at. Because when people get to going in that, it's like, you got to know. Because I've been doing this too long and I'm an educator. Forget the more science. I'm an official in everything. I never tell nobody, give me some money and go file this paperwork here and what they say, get in contact with the provost marshal and do this and do this. No. And I'm going to tell you, everyone that do that, you don't know that it's a right to work state in your area and you're going to get walked out your damn job. Especially if you're a girl on Section 8, which a lot of these Moors, they be living with girls on Section 8. And when you be talking about the government on the internet, they have the internet task force. And then you be wondering why your girl can't get her cheap rent no more and don't nobody want to rent to her. Because the government is her daddy. And if you talk about her daddy, they don't want you in the house. Real talk. And it's messed up if a grand sheik to support obtaining a marriage license today. This is no disrespect for nobody else. That's what they said. Give Caesar back what's Caesar's. That's fine. If a person want to do that, fine. But I'm telling you, pertaining to Moors and under our religious laws, just like any other people that's under their religious and tribal laws, they don't operate with no third party. Ask the Mormon. Ask the Amish. I know them too well. They have acres where we got acres at. Big facts. That's jurisdiction over family, what comes with the unlawful family courts. Think about it. That's why when you organize under your religious laws and you have people that's really doing something coming together, you have your midwives and your duels and all that. You don't have to go and do these things because you do it in your tribe. So if you want to say putting Moors back in slavery from a lack of knowing, yeah. And if grand sheiks don't know this, don't that make it even worse, y'all? I mean, this is no slander, no one. What is a license? To conduct a business? Okay. Profession, occupation? Okay. I get that. And then people be saying, you got to have a license to do all this. And I tell people, man, you cannot tell a brother getting out of prison that one of the brothers, like I know a guy on Instagram that help people, he'd been in prison for a while, help them get their CDL, get trucking license, to tell them, oh, you don't get no license to do this. Man, I'm not going to tell nobody to do that. And I know people that have been in prison for 15, 20 years come out and get with my guy, and he helped them get their C to get trucking license. They doing all this import and export, and they getting real money. The best thing ever happened to them in their lives. So I understand doing business on an earth plane. I get that. I'm not ignorant. So when people talk about you only allowed to do this, hey man, I'm not finna sit in here and do that. If you're a barber, what? If you're an auto mechanic, what? I mean, if you're a doctor, what? We're gonna say if you're a kid, an athlete, what? We're gonna say our kids don't have no skills or don't acquire aptitude and don't acquire no skills. That don't even make sense. I understand definitions. Yes, it's a license to do something that he would not be entitled to do without a license. I ask people like this: if your mom getting ready to pass right now, and you finna deal with a person that say, "Oh man, I don't have no doctor's license, man," but I read a book, I read a medical book, a terms, and I'm gonna do surgery on your child. You're gonna be like, Negro, going somewhere, and that's how asinine these people say, and sound. So have grand sheiks went nuts, or are they studying? So when we talk about in our religious creed, do they know their position in law? Because the prophet says that they are in place to make law and enforce law, right? And I ain't talking about no law, none of that, because in order to enforce anything, you got to be operate under them. Because you don't leave no one in no burning house. So what does that mean, that law? See, a lot of people ain't going to break nothing down. They just going to play how you signing paperwork. Just praetorium, the discretion of the praetor as distinct from the leges of standing of law, the kind of law which the praetors introduce for the purpose of aiding, supplying, or correcting the law for the public benefit. Correcting the law. When I speak about it's a copyright law, which I can use anything for scholarship, for education. You put some shit out saying this is a fact, this is law, and this is a law case and precedent law case, I'm going to look that shit up because the law protect me. It's a law called Precedent Doc Cases, Free Information Act, and doc numbers. And it's this thing called the copyright law to protect. I can use anything for educational purposes only, especially if you say this some facts. Let's see. Let's see if you a liar or not. And this position, Grand Sheiks, that are supposed to hold in the spirit of making the law and enforcing the law for the Moorish nation. The law is understanding Allah's word, doing things the right way. The right way. The whole body of law, the just, by way of the just sanguine, by blood. What makes you a Moorish American? Because you're born in America with Moroccan, African descent, which is the ancestral estate of the dominion of us. Read in your Moorish Quran, 47. Domination of Moors, the just precarium, the civil law, a right to the thing held for another, for which there is no remedy by legal action, but only entreaty or request. And I'm telling you, it ain't no whole bunch of, like I tell y'all, man, people be getting caught up as paper terrorists that's doing a whole bunch of dumb shit. And I say, dude, you got to understand the religious laws, Declaration of Human Rights, SF 181 form, all these things that a person need to learn before you even get caught up in somebody telling you to file some dumbass paperwork. We trump the dumb stuff. We trump all of it. In civil law, a present or vested right, a right already completely acquired, just prescins. And when that's self-explanatory, when we talk about your so-called nationality and your so-called birthrights, when people be talking about, they are already existing as your birthright from when you was born. That's why I be telling people, I said, let somebody teach you the truth. Can't nobody make you nothing. They talk that Exhumer of the Nation, man, they ain't gonna touch that Exhumer of the Nation. As soon as they open the introduction, the preface of Exhumer of the Nation, that shit gonna burn their fingers. They gonna put it on the shelf. And then the 10-10-9-9 ain't no goddamn trust fund at the end of the rainbow. I already illuminated that. And though that Grand Sheik and his wife was lying to y'all, I showed y'all that in 2016. 1010 ain't no goddamn trust fund at the end of the rainbow. That ain't nothing but a religious affidavit. I showed y'all that. From the CCRD, the County Recorder of Deeds. Recorder of Deeds, the County Clerk of Recorder of Deeds. I'm telling you. and many more think in grave error. You can't change nothing. You can't change the National Constitution ratified 1790. You think it can be altered or changed? And in the lack of study, they don't know the difference between American citizenship and United States of America citizenship. Ask them, what's American citizenship and United States of American citizenship? And if not for the national, in this case, in this land, the more American. When we say national, man, you don't even know what I'm saying, because we all have a national name. I hope you know what I'm saying. You're supposed to annex it to the name that your mama gave you at birth. which is your family crest, aka your coat of arms, which I'll be showing y'all on my Goodman coat of arms family crest that David McRitchie talk about in the Ancient and Modern Britons. I hope more is catching what I'm saying. The Constitution, if you think anything can be altered, do you think that? They believe that the Constitution has been altered and can be altered by those who did not authorize it. How? Thus, they think they are enforcing it, even upon unratified amendments and presentments of what they think is the national constitution. You got to know this, or you abandoning your American national land. Just like when Maury be talking about, expatriation. I said, man, you don't even know what expatriation. Tell them what that means. Oh, we're going to expatriate from the de facto government. Okay, then now what? Who you have allegiance with now? Your goofy ass still live in the raggedy neighborhood you grew up in when you was a kid. So now, you know what you are now? A domestic terrorist. Talk about you finna expatriate from this de facto government. Well, who you got allegiance with? Moore's confused on navigating. It's too simple. But Moors want to be criminals and some goofy ass sovereign citizens. That's an oxymoron. If you read the American National Constitution of 1790, read it. Read it. And then you ask me and you ask anybody, is that the supreme law of the land? You ask them. Ask them and see what they say. That's why it's only one supreme issue. And that is what? To enforce what? The Constitution for the United States of America. And they, the foreign Europeans, no disrespect, adopted it as ancient principles of civilization. That's why the first act of Congress was to take what? An oath to uphold it. So everyone and anyone who is a public trustee must take an oath. Just like the oath of amnesty. Yet these Roman venues are violating the law, committing treason, and having summary trials without due process. But that's because the people is not demanding due process. And we don't know what it is, what it consists of. I mean, this stuff is just basic stuff. That's why I tell people, I said, man, you can go right to any law library, pull all these precedent and law cases up. That's why when you talk to a British Annotated Registry person and they sit down with me, because I had the luxury to sit down and cross-study in academia with prosecutor, attorneys, police, so-called lawyers under the British Annotated Registry, and they be like, yeah, because there's no argument. It's no excuse of not knowing the law in the court of law. Not knowing your rights is just like not having any. And when a judge acts when he or she does not have jurisdiction to act, and when I say jurisdiction, I ain't saying, or they can't do this. I ain't saying that. No state legislator or executive or judicial officer can work against the Constitution without violating his undertaking to support it. I mean, people have signed things. That's like the same thing with you. But the way people have to do things is what? Uphold the law. And yet the Grand Sheiks telling people, and all these fake Grand Sheiks on the internet having y'all signing paper, doing all this, and nobody saying nothing. And it's going to have you doing this, and ask them, have they done that? Ask them, have they squatted in houses? Ask them, have they filled some paperwork out? Ask them, have they canceled some corporate debt? And what's canceling corporate debt? Really? Because I show y'all the little green, I show y'all what's canceling corporate debt. Think about this. And then I can show y'all so many videos that Europeans is doing this, and more is on the page in their inbox. I can pull up Europeans, no disrespect, on YouTube, talk about they can claim your nationality and all this, and people on there. And I say, man, y'all trust y'all information with these people, especially these people talk about they can cancel corporate debt. That's the new thing that's been going around. Cancel corporate debt? Like, what is that? See, that's idiotic. And they won't tell you. They'll tell you drive without license, and the person that's driving them around have license. All this fraud stuff. They'll be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. This and some back early and this and this and this and the other. You'll be like, okay, man, that's nothing. Where the building? Where the temple? Where the children? Nah, man. What the literature? But these grand sheiks are telling you clearly violating the law and committing treason against you. How? Because they telling you to get permission from them to do something that does not require permission to do. And that's absurd. That's what I'm telling you. Grand sheiks and Moors are supposed to be enforcing the Constitution, which absolutely forbids such activity. They already talk about the Constitution. It was written so that other citizens will not molest you. Yes, you, the more American national. And I hope when I say national, you understand what I'm saying. I hope you do. Because if you don't, I break it down so a child can understand it. I bet you my elementary students could be like, yeah, do you know what he mean when he's saying national? National? That's how they say in class. They'll be like, yeah. What makes you a Moorish American? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Then like, well, what's national? My name next to, that's my national name for all of us. Connecting ourselves. Very simple. Aboriginal and indigenous to the land, to your heritage, your ancestral estate, your illustrious estate, your. And it protects other citizens, providing it's enforced the proper way. Even the Constitution is written instrument, and it means does not alter. That's why it was adopted. And it means now. You can look at all the precedent cases, South Carolina versus U.S. I can give you all the precedent law cases. You can look it up. And we are bound to interpret the Constitution in the light of the law as it existed at the time it was adopted. Right? That's why the duty is to enforce as obey. You are the law. You must obey first the law. And if Moors be calling themselves bays, they don't obey the law. They done. Anytime you got a bail your name and you in the court all day, what person that obeyed the law and is a lawgiver in court all day? Oh, I gotta go to court. I gotta go to court. For what? Tell me why. Give me one good reason. Because if you in court all day, you got too much damn time on your hand. We talk about grown men. Our prophet also said, everyone must answer up to the nationality and their religion. Even the European must do the same. That's why I say the European agree with me, man. Everybody know it. If you come to Arizona, when Moors come, especially our third annual Moors Ball, they must. Every potentate out here, that's a lower level nation, 32 and 33 degrees. They must. They sons of Muslims. They'll laugh at them more, be like, we're not the joke of masonry, you are. Clearly. And they're not lying. Because they are not white people. I'm telling you. And the fundamental laws of this entire non-Christian country is based on Islamic codes. Didn't y'all see Thomas Jefferson was inaugurated on the Quran? Even Obama affirms that his address in Cairo, Egypt. That's why Obama told you, man, when he broke down the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, when he said a stand in the law. No, he's not black. According to science and law, black means deaf. So why would you deal with anybody that say, "Oh, we from black people and we know law"? Clearly, you got to be delusional because according to science and law, black means deaf. So put dead, deaf, and dead in front of everything you call black. Dead business, dead black NFT, dead marriage, dead banks, all that black shit they warn people to sleep. You know, black ain't ancient. This is let me just break something down real fast and just leave it and just anybody talk that black shit, you should be done with them. If not, you just like nicotainment. Black wasn't even used in first century to describe ethnicity. Black was used in theater and shit. Big fucking facts. They say, "Oh, Black Laws Dictionary." What black laws? Not Black Law Volume 1. Black wasn't used to describe no ethnicity. You call yourself Negro, black, and color, all that slave. I broke that shit down. I broke down the black law, the black codes. I broke that shit down last week. Why? The European agree with me. I told y'all that Willie Lynch shit, fake. No disrespect. I love rappers. I like Talib Kweli. He made a song called Willie Lynch and all that shit, fake. And these brothers be saying they heavy. Where the Willie Lynch letter? It ain't no fucking Willie Lynch letter. It'll be in the Library of Congress. It ain't one. That shit made up. And since the Europeans were like, well, let these niggas believe this shit, let them believe it. No European writer in first century wrote about no stupid ass Willie Lynch. Frederick Douglass ain't write about no dumbass Willie Lynch. No European writer in first century wrote about no dumbass Willie Lynch. I showed y'all. I like a lot of things Farrakhan did. I love people that bring light to people. When he did the Man March and did that Willie Lynch, I tell y'all that's bullshit. So if you a scholar and educator and you sit down with me behind closed doors, you be like, yeah, well, we know it's bullshit, but we do this just to woo, to try to see why. And I tell you, that's fuck shit. And I'm gonna say it in front of millions of people. Because I'm gonna show you how to rise above from the bullshit. Young people be stepping on your neck. I'm gonna show you that damn that root shit is some trash too. Alex Haley plagiarized that shit from a European called Harold Colander. The European wrote a book called The African, and all that shit is pseudo, fake as hell. To push that goddamn out of Africa shit. I'm telling you big facts. Harold Colander, Zachariah Stitchin, even the European that wrote Behold the Pale Horse, they all Masons. I got all their pictures. I told you I'm part of the Philosophical Research Society. I'm gonna be transparent with everybody. They ain't nobody heavy. If they was in the flesh, they wouldn't be saying shit right now. Because they have to identify. I'm just being honest. So what has that to do with Roman venues such as the municipalities in which the Grand Sheiks are telling you to go get a marriage license from? So why go to them to get a license to do anything? Think about it. They too must profess their own, as every nation must worship under their own vine and fig tree. That's what we teach. We ain't teaching nobody nothing. They say, oh, if you ain't gonna do, you're supposed to have your own people to do this. Why are you coming to us? Like what you coming to us for? Like, okay, well, if you come to us, you got to abide by our rules. Sign a fucking contract. So sending your people to some foreign is absurd. Just like why would you go somewhere and get literature? Why would you go somewhere else to learn? Why would you go somewhere else to work out? We do all that together. Why would you go somewhere else if you want to get your business set up the right way on paper? And we do it for a small donation. Why? Why would you want to go somewhere else and get your web page set up and my noble Alonzo ALO Designs pros do web pages? Professional. It don't make sense. Why, if your kid's struggling in college, high school, why go somewhere else? I tutor. I do all that. The people in the United States, residents within any state are subject to two governments. The state and the other is the national. And should be no conflict in between the two. Just like in masonry, the lower level masons, when I tell y'all the analogy, the lion and the lamb should lie down at night and wake up in the morning and no one will be harmed. That's the United States versus Cruikshank. I mean, it's just a lot of things. You should let nobody just come to you with no bull crap and how you filling a whole bunch of paper you didn't mesh up your life. Now, you should ask yourself, are you a resident within any state or a subject? You should know. You should know. I'm not here to, like I tell people, a lot of people be willing obligors. So when you know what you are, then that's fine. But I'm not finna. I don't argue with nobody. I don't waste my time. Anyone who don't claim their nationality, which determines their political status, right? Right? Anyone who does not claim their nationality, which determines their political status, right, are subjects of the Moorish nation. Is it not the other way around? As this is the Moorish dominion, Moors are the nationals here. Think about it. Thus there is a national constitution and government, and there need to be no conflict. So why these grand sheiks are saying they are under the jurisdiction of a foreign Roman venue or under a corporate foreign European state instead of the national government, of which Prophet Noble Drew Ali said they were a nation, and this is their illustrious estate in chapter 47. Temples are to be regencies or outposts for Moors. Regencies or outposts, not nobody telling you, oh, go get this, go get some silver, no, go do all this. No. So why go to a foreign municipality venue? What I'm saying is, if you, right, just think about it. Today you want to get married, you don't have nobody to do your union. Somebody say, get with my pastor. Or do this, but you are more. And when I say we supposed to be outposts, you don't say, oh man, hey, get with She Goodman Bay. When I say outposts, if it ain't no temples on there and they doing it and you are more, easy. We supposed to be supporters, regency or outposts for Moors. So why go to a foreign venue? You can, like, because a lot of Moors, they empresses don't be Moors. So they want to go get a dumbass marriage license. And I say you can still do the celebration of venue. You just don't have to go get a marriage license. I give you a marriage union certificate for you and your empress can have, for y'all can store. I give you a marriage union certificate. If you are Moor, so you got to be able to explain this to your empress. You ain't telling your empress she can't have the union and all that and all her family come. We ain't saying that. But you don't want to go, you don't have to go to get no marriage license, and I can give y'all union certificates. Why wouldn't you want to do that? What make theirs better than ours? And these are excellent questions to ask before you go and tie yourself back into mental slavery by continuing to be an idiot as it pertains to self. I'm not calling nobody no idiot, but by the actions that we do and we know better, that's an idiot. That's just like blind faith. You know a car coming down the street, but you're going to walk and get your ass hit. Right? The following definition is a lawful definition. So please don't be offended by it. Or rather, excuse me, by what you thought it meant. Please. That's why I tell Moors they need to study. Like when I be on college campus every Wednesday, man, I tell y'all, and now the world opening back up because this COVID thing is slowing down, and I'm going to start being busy again when I tell y'all, man, it be hundreds of students on the college campus. And when I do these lectures and I give books away for small pennies of dollars and how I tutor kids, man, that's why I say my people lost. Because if black is being stupid and white is being intelligent, well, then I'm white. I'm white all fucking day. Idiot. A person who has been without understanding from his nativity and whom the law therefore presumes never likely to attain any. Also see insanity. The source and intrinsic purpose of the Constitution, or the res, the rest of it, is based in and for the purpose of preserving the national side, or the natural people's rights, called the res judicata, or judicata, a matter adjudged, a thing judiciously acted upon or decided, a thing or matter settled by judgment, a phrase of the civil law constantly quoted in the books, rules that final judgment or decree on marriage by court of contentment, yeah, or competent jurisdiction, It was all highlighted out. I'm like, why did I cross that out? Oh, because they spelled it wrong. That's why. Is conclusive of rights of parties of their previous in all later suits on points and matters determined in former suits, and to be applicable, meaning for you can use it, requires identity in things sued for, as well as identity of cause of action, of persons and parties to action, and of quality in person for or against whom claim is made. The substance of the whole rule is that a matter once judiciously decided is finally decided. Man, I can go on and on with this all day, man. And what's more implicating, man, is that those in these temple buildings and out of these temple buildings are instructing the people to go to a foreign modern European Roman venue to get permission from them and be under their jurisdiction. Then bring the license permission you get from the city hall municipalities to the Grand Sheik, and they will perform the marriage ceremony. But only if you get a marriage license first. See, that's what this shit right here teaches. Go get a marriage like that, man. We ain't going to get no fucking marriage license. Why? Why would you go get a marriage license and you're supposed to have the marriage union? Your marriage union. Think about it. They are without a doubt or contradiction. That's in the context is an agent per se. What if I work for you? I mean, I'm an agent. If I don't work in-house and I'm doing all your duties outside house, no matter if I'm knowing or not knowing, I'm an agent in that matter. Think about it. Willingly or not knowing. And they have to be crazy in the head. And the ignorance has gone on too far. So they carry an air of ignorance. So people that's going to carry on with ignorance. And these be these same sheiks in the temples who think Moors are some type of citizens of the USA. I hope y'all follow me what I'm saying, because they don't know adaptly that the USA means unity, salvation, and Allah. Thomas Jefferson Island was inaugurated on the Quran. So whatever. Nor do they really understand what the prophet brought, but profess they have gifts of understanding. And they do, if they stand under the Roman venues, as they do the very well. Yes, you do have a gift. That's why I tell people, do wrong is a gift. And not get caught, and everybody you do wrong to get in trouble. Shit. Didn't the prophet say, didn't I say, I come to teach you to be yourself and to bring you out of your mental slavery? Mental slavery. There are no chains on your brain. It's all in and about the mind, as the mind and the man is your mind. We talk about this. That's why I say a man is his mind. And we tell you now that you cannot know law if you don't know history. No way possible. Didn't the prophet say to study? And if I could just get you to thinking, you would free yourself with love, the first principle. We trust all will be well, because victory is assured in these matters, as they are panning out exactly as the prophet said they would. Just like when you get them them goofy ass religious Christian pastors talk about God's word is too hard for you to understand. That's the dumbest shit ever. I'm gonna show you right in the Bible in Sunday school. That's garbage. He said, yes, it's hard, but it's not too hard. He said, yes, God's word is hard, but it's not too hard. That's what he's telling. That's why I say the divine come first. Scholarship is great with the have, but when you anointed by God, man-made wisdom, it trumps that. But the scholarships brings it all in. Talk about God's word is too hard for men. No, that's bullshit. Yes, God's word is hard, just like mathematics, just like trigonometry, just like chemistry. But it's not that hard for the mind can't figure out. I'm telling you. It's God's law. That's first. We came to teach. That's why you got to be careful of these Moors wearing a turban and fez. A lot of these Moors ain't wearing a turban no more. I mean, they fez because they're burning their head off. And if you are in a temple that believes you need a license from the municipality to get married or to do anything, and if you believe they are citizens of the so-called United States, because remember, a Negro don't have no rights. I showed y'all in the Black Christian codes that you don't. Never will, never, never, ever, ever. Never. Never. It's sad. It's sad, man. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Let me see if I can find something real fast. I say I teach in circles. If people don't understand that, it's no way I can teach. I bet your child understand. Be like, I want to be taught like you see how he teach. Yep. I'll leave y'all with this little bit, and we out of here. Let me get a little water. My throat dry. Oh, but thanks for the donation. One of my nobles hit me up, was like, man, I'll be with you for any temple. And every time I got my other thing open. Yeah, it's Cash App $KG Bay. Thanks, Noble. I'll leave y'all with this. The symbol, when you see that circle, when you see this, that symbol, when you see that symbol, watch this. The circle 7, the result of successful work with the previous symbols. Remember we just talked about in class yesterday, the archetypal, the perfected man, Brian, divinity within matter, the mystery of that which cannot be contained within a progressively evolving containment. That's chapter 1 in your Holy Moorish Quran. The Hebrew secret tradition, the Kabbalah. When I talk about the Baphomet, is this nothing but Kabbalistically spelling? It's nothing scary. The mystery of the defies life. The containment may solve it. Death of the ego. Solve it. Koga. Remember that? Remember I showed y'all yesterday? Hold on. I'll show you. 1 second. Sitting around. All right. Right here. And I told y'all Alicia Levi wasn't nothing but a transcriber. This is nothing scary. See, if you come to school and learn, you will get all this. I guarantee you this is nothing scary. If somebody told you this scary, oh, sad, sad, sad. Sad. So, when you see that hand up, down, that's cold. You see that? the solvent, death of the ego, solvent koga, so that the rays of light, the breath of Allah, may germinate the seed buried within the grave of the ego, the seven. Ah. So we're talking about the symbol, the circle seven, the result of the successful work with the previous symbols, the divine pluralism within monotheism, the Christian Trinity, the Islamic monotheism, conflict resolved. We resolving the conflict. Every more should want to come study with us. Why wouldn't you? Listen to this. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. That's the Gospel of John 3:16. Now listen to this. Say he, Allah, is one. He begots not, nor is he begotten, and there is none like him. That's Surah 1:12, 1 and 4. Same shit. The source of the conflict lies in the confusion of a microcosmic aspect of the one true reality. What? The God, the Son, and its most recognized personal manifestation, Jesus or Yahshua, because there never was a J in the Hebrew dialect. Come on, man. Are y'all still with me? Or am I making something up? Talk to me. We're going to destroy that religious conflict. This too simple. It's too simple. We're going to let people play with us. I don't know why. Divine pluralism within monotheism, the Christian Trinity, the Islamic monotheism, the conflict resolved. Very simple. Identity property of addition states that the sum of zero and any number or variable is the number or variable itself, right? Of course. What do you mean, Sheik? Okay, 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals what? 3. Okay, so what do that mean? Okay, that's indicative of the linear, the what? The finite, the thinking, causes the intellect and the intuition to clash. Okay, so we're gonna try this again. The divine pluralism within monotheism, the Christian Trinity, the Islamic monotheism, the conflict resolved. Okay. Yes. Islam, Brian. Identity property of the the multiplication states that the product of one and any number or variable is that number or variable itself, or 1 times 1 times 1 equals what? 1. Indicative of the true Islamic thought, the infinite. It satisfies both the intellect and the intuition. Come on, man. Come on. So watch. Let me show you some signs and symbols. Watch this. See what you're looking at? I'm going to explain what you're looking at. I got to show you. If I have my chalkboard up, I'll be doing just like C. Freeman L. I'll be drawing everything, showing you right off my head. But if you was in class, you would get all this. So, 88, the divine pluralism within monotheism, the Christian Trinity, the Islamic monotheism, the conflict resolved. So when we talk about how we do things on the 1, the 3, the 7, and the 10, the aspects of God and man, when you saw that triangle with those 3 circles in there connecting. So, listen to this. Behold, the Lord said to the angel, I will create Khalifa in the earth. They said, will thou place therein one who will cause mischief and the shedding of blood? While we do celebrate, thanks for the donation, Noble. Yes, Cash App, $ KGB, if y'all like what I'm saying. You go to church and get a preacher 20. But anyway, while we do celebrate thy praises and glorify thy name, he said, I know what you know not. Right? Surah Al-Baqarah 2:30 and 34. So the biblical term only begotten son and the Quranic term Khalifa, they are identical. I hope we know this. They are identical. Therefore, what? The authentic tradition maintains that Surah 2 and 30 and John 3 and 16 are describing the same event. As I repeat, I said Surah 2 and 30 and John 3:16 are describing the same event. So now what? Now what? Nobody can say nothing, could they? I hope not. Unless they're making it up as they go. As I showed y'all the picture, the term the world and the earth are indicative of that which is created or manifest reality. The term God and Allah within the context are indicative of the timeless, the causeless cause that is beyond all manifestation, hence beyond all comprehension. The term only begotten son and Khalifa refer to God Allah's presence within his own creation, within you and me, and the miraculous means by which the insertion or assertion takes place is referred to in the Bible as the Holy Ghost. So Islamically, it's described as Baraka, Barakaa, and constitutes the authentic tradition, the line that unites divinity and matter. Oh, y'all know we talking about that cherubim and that seraph. We talked about this in class, y'all. I can show you all the symbols, the numbers, and the letters and the colors. I don't know what they talk about, Brian. The table of sequential and geometrical values of the Arabic alphabet. When you see the sequential value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know the Arabic letters, the English, the geometrical value, all of it the same. It's all the same. That's why symbols, numbers, letters, and colors. Numbers are the universal language. Numbers are symbols of primordial thought form, and thus are living things. Numbers measure vibrations, thus they define and differentiate manifestation. Numbers map patterns. Patterns are the evidence and the shadows of the unseen reality. That's why letters you can say are phonetic numbers and colors are visual numbers. That's why when you understand this, numbers and letters are working tools to map the inner, the higher realms of experience, to scientifically investigate the unseen realities, the hidden cause behind manifest reality. That's why the pattern is the continuum. When I break down examples of numerical explorations using the NAEQ6 code, I break that down another time. Vine John 5 and 1. I am the vine, and my Father is the husbandman, a clear indicator of the physical manifestation of the authentic tradition. Also, by definition, links to the phrase 72-fold lion, which has the numerical value of 231 of white tincture, or the alchemical philosopher's stone. I tell y'all when I talk about Paschal Beverly Randolph, I'm telling you, man, which we was a half Asiatic and 5-pointed section of the New York, all this. I don't want to stay in the Paschal Beverly Randolph, but that's a whole nother teaching. Alex and Crowley, they all dress like a Moor, aka Serapis Bey. I lectured this a long time ago, and I told people, like, man, they copied you. Listen what he said. Speaking on the opposing forces working to hinder the objective of the authentic tradition. What I am out to complain of is what I seriously believe to be an organized conspiracy of the Black Lodges to prevent people from thinking magic without tears. We should found society upon a cast of men of earth, sons of the soil, the worst thing they can do is what is done in America, to disenchant the man of earth with his destiny, to fill him with the facts and fancies that enthrall and idolated and degenerated idealists and unfit him for his evident purpose. That of supplying society with supermen. Book 4. Black according to science means purity. Black according to science means death. White means purity. Purity means God. And God means ruler of the land. What is meant by the word black? Black according to science means death. What kind of science? Mathematically speaking, black equals death. Mathematically speaking, stay in the context. Stay in the context. Stay in the context. Stay in the context. Gratitude, Brian. Gratitude, Brian. But mathematically speaking, black equals death. And death is no enemy of man. It is a friend who, when the work of life is done, just cuts the cord that binds the human boat to earth, that it may sail on smoother seas. Because, see, we like the gospel. We are born to hear the word of Allah, Brian. See, that's what a lot of these Moors don't understand. They think it's something that we should just do on the weekend like church. No, see, when you a God man, when you a Jacobite, when you a noble, this is what we did every fucking day. This is part of our life, paying homage and giving. This is what we do. We do everything else. We smoke weed. We do all the stuff that do nothing for us, and ain't nothing wrong with that. But we do all this other stuff. Why we don't do this and give the same attention to detail? Why not? There is a holy ministry in death, and man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah. And while Allah lives, man cannot die. We can't. No way possible. Science, the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment, not blind faith. I ain't operate on no blind faith. Black according to science means death. White means purity. Purity means God. And God means ruler of the land. That's why I want to say, praise the holy name. And what name you give yourself? We was breaking it down in Sunday school. My dad was breaking it down. You tell me. You proclaim, declare, and have due process. What's the name that I tell you who the hell I am? You don't tell me who the hell I am. I'm going to tell you. God gonna tell you exactly who he is. Understand this. The Bible testifies to what I'm saying. The relation of the word black to death. Chapter 17, 35 to 37. The alchemical death. Disintegration defined as the fermentation of the elements into a state of dissolution. The alchemical term for putresfactions is negrito and occurs via an extreme heating of the material to be transformed within a containment or a flask in the spiritual death. In the spiritual death of the ego, the physical body is the flask. The fire is the true will, developed, inflamed by the persecution, the sacrifice. And this process is referred to by the Taoists as practicing to die. And the Sufis, the mantra, die before you die. I told y'all, man, I teach in circles. If anybody paying attention, I'm building the body over and over every year. I must. I love to teach. I'm telling y'all, man. If I was a different nationality, we already be there. We already have this big grand building. Everybody will come up. Oh, I don't got time. Let me go give my offerings. And we'll do that. We supposed to. I'm telling you. Cornelius Agrippa, the occulted philosophers Libra, Tres, Negrito, or blackness is the alchemical sense. It means decomposition. And by the penetration of the external fire, the inner fire is activated and the matter starts to purify. The body is reduced to its primal matter from which it originally arose. And this process is also called that cooking. And the black earth is closed up in a vessel or a flask and then heated. Right? Another writer, Dom Pernty, 1758, purification is so effective that it destroys the old nature and form of the rotting bodies. It transmutes them into a new state of being. That's resurrection, to give them a totally new fruit. And everything that has life dies. Everything that is dead purifies and finds a new life. Just like compost. Black, according to science, means death. White means purity. Purity means God, and God means ruler of the land. So in the alchemical process, negrito, it gives rise to albedo, and the white light, that divinity of man, piercing through the developmental stage of the negrito. And it represents man's first recognition of and communication with his own divine nature, knowing thyself. In fact, nothing dies except that what hinders and obstructs the transformation or the resurrection, and that's the ego. Death, indeed, is transformation, symbolized in astrology as the what? The 8th house, and in the tarot deck as the 16th trump, aka the tower, and the alchemically, the planet Saturn, and the base metal is lead. The phrase solve it, Kolga, which I showed y'all on the Baphomet, solve it. Solve it, Kolga, solve what is fixed can only occur within Negrito. And only through Negrito is divine man revealed. See, if I was the church, would be saying amen. If I was in one of them crazy churches, they'd be putting money at my feet. But thanks for those that give a donation. Like I said, we're a club hop. And see, this is what I love. And I don't mind giving donations for the word. If I club hop, me and my homies, we'd go somewhere and we'd go do all this entertainment. And then I say I'm a Moor and I come on somebody's page that's a teacher. Man, I got donations because I'm going to go give it to something that I don't give a shit about. I'm just talking about myself. Prima materia is the pliant substance of verse 38, a literal return to the original state or first matter, so that the external fire can penetrate fully and activate the inner fire to bring about the albedo state, the big bang of the Western physics. Well, my noble said, if nobody's not getting fed, then why would they even be here? You ask it, you type it on here. I'm on Instagram, on our Burning Bush, and I'm on YouTube. Come on there and type everything you're saying on there. It's one of my homies. I'm on my other thing. He like, no way. He like, I don't care if you got 4 or 5 people on there. Every 4 or 5 people should be donating something. Like, are you learning? So I'm starting to invite a lot of my people from Michigan, from the Temple in Flint, Michigan, to jump on social media with me. So I hope they do. But where was I at? Okay, yeah. In chapter 1 in the Moorish Holy Quran, prima materia equates to the ethers of the plane of the soul and the dark matter of the quantum physics and the inner fire that must be touched by the penetrating external fire. That's the seed that came forth from the heart of Allah. Right? Right, y'all? It's very simple. You know you have types of death in the biblical scriptures when we talk about physically alive but yet spiritually dead. That's the carnal sensation turn man's attention away from our original and our origin and towards our own creation. The ego expressions, the rise of the ego over the true self. That's the shift in attention that toward man from our source, which is God, which is Allah. That's how we debased ourselves. Redemption spiritually occurs when the ego is murdered, per se. death of the lower self, allowing the inner seed, the true self. When I said this is who we are, our true self. This is our true self. We be waiting for the weekend. Oh, I can't wait for the weekend to go out and blow a whole bunch of money on the weekend. And instead of using your funds to say, man, I'm going to learn and deal with this and give to my tribe and give to the teachings and learn some stuff, get my business in order, get everything in order, work out with the nobles, all that stuff, get my business right, all of the stuff that add value to my life, to place our hand in Allah's own hand, the external fire penetrating to the inner fire, which is the seed, the rays of the alchemical sun at high noon, which is the Leo, which is raising up the purified body via the strong grip of the lion's paw. I hope y'all following me. Of course, you have an ancestral or soul death. That's a process, racial and social and cultural amalgamation. We understand that when a lot of even the foods we eat can deteriorate what's inside. We talk about our diet. And then, of course, you have that physical death, right? But we deal with the living gospel. And a lot of things I think people are misconstrued on what more science consists of. A lot of people, I think they get into the science and get a truly misunderstanding of this God and one thing. That's why I say my new book is imperative. When we talk about the divine pattern of the Mosaic tabernacle and the Moorish Salat, this is a must. This is a must. I'm telling you, man. And for the wisdom, it's not, it breaks it down very simple. I don't mind when nobody do tradition. That's on you. But when it comes down to this Moorish science, man, we don't gravitate to one essence where we miss the science of the rest. We're not telling nobody what to do. But when I'm telling you, I do things in a Moorish way. Right? That's why it's the significance of the number 7, the chakras and the teachings of our prophet. I mean, the body pertaining to God's law is simple. We did this in class. Remember how chapter 4, the significance of the number 7, the chakras and the teachings of our prophet. And Jesus said, truth is the only thing that changes not. In all the world, there are 2 things. The one is truth. The other is falsehood. And falsehood is that which seems to be. Now, truth is aught and has no cause, and yet is the cause of everything. Falsehood is not, and yet it is the manifest of right. Man is the truth, and falsehood strangely mixed. Man is the breath made flesh. So truth and falsehood are conjoined within him. Jesus conversing with Lammas and Brahmas in your holy Moorish Quran, in our holy Moorish Quran, chapter 7. And I say, in the right hand of him who sat on the throne, a book written within, and on the backside, sealed with what? 7 seals. That's Revelation 5:1. We're talking about the chakras. I just showed you a pictorial. So you should take an analytical look at that passage from your holy Quran. Specifically, the statement, man is truth and falsehood strangely mixed. Because of the use of the words truth and falsehood, we are almost immediately inclined to see them as polar opposites. Stay with me. Or worse, one being good and the other being bad. Neither of these are accurate. Neither of these are accurate. If you understand the above passage, that's why I said you listen to the words that I'm saying. They don't just me speaking, but do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Because you hear me, but do you understand? And this tells us that falsehood is not the opposite of truth. For if it was, then both would be mutually dependent upon the other, not being able to exist without the other. And this passage tells us, it tells the student that falsehood is a projection imitating from truth as a shadow is the cast by a solid object, and the object can and does exist absent the shadow. Stay in context, but the shadow cannot exist absent its cause. What? The object. So when we contemplate the phrase, man is truth and falsehood, strangely mixed, we should immediately banish all thoughts and ideas of man being hopelessly shackled to the, how can I say it, dichotomy of good and bad. Hence giving ourselves the false sense of security that Allah winks at our wrongdoings. The possession and the position of man being in the particular position of truth and falsehood strangely, skillfully, artfully mixed is crucial indeed to the divine plan of the age. For as is illustrated figuratively Moors on the cover of our Moors Quran, our questionnaire. My members, y'all have it. My muftis, y'all have it. And the book of Revelations, the 10th chapter. Man has what? 1 foot in divinity and 1 foot in matter. And this makes him the literal keystone to the entire mystery of existence. Man, are y'all rocking with me? Somebody talk to me, man. And then when you look at the specific topic of the chakras, the term chakra is a Sanskrit term denoting will. When I talk about how I teach, donating will. If I'm going to build the body, I must continue to build the body. I must continue to build the body. I keep telling you, all my members, all my muftis, what they say, Sheikh teaching the will. Chakra is the Sanskrit term that denotes will. I hope y'all be listening to me when I say I teach in the will. What did they be saying? I said, all my nobles, if y'all get to me, I teach. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. You will catch it. I teach science. My life is science. So I must speak in layman terms, and then as I take my teeth out, I'm giving a knowledge and I hold my noble's hand, you see where I'm getting you. To clear understanding. To clear understanding. The term chakra is a Sanskrit term that's denoting will. And specifically describe seven major energetic centers that correspond to the 7 ductless glands of the endocrine system. Stay with me. And there are various methods of activating or setting these wheels in motion. And since the entire volume would require me to do just this topic, I'll tell you like this. It's one that controls all the rest of them. And a lot of people Kundalini being a knot. And it ain't just one thing to activate it. It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing. But it's various methods of activating or setting these wheels in motion, you know? But we got to focus on exactly what they are and what the function is in the relation and the synchronicity to the teachings of our prophet and the Moorish Science Temple of America, just like in our Examen of the Nation, when I talk about what, nobles? The Ajana, right? Come on, man, y'all. This synchronicity. In chapter 1 of your holy Moorish Quran, of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we are taught that man has a real presence on 3 planes at one time. Didn't I? Just like the triad. We broke this down in class in our IDMR. Man has a real presence on 3 planes at one time. And that our position, location on these 3 planes actually intersect or occupy the same space, separate and distinguishable only by difference in vibratory rate. And this the key, because we know that it's dealing with the physics that material, 3-dimensional plane of manifest, 2 or more things cannot occupy the same space at the same time. That is, 2 or more things that are of material plane. Stay with me. However, the more rarefied substances not only can occupy the same space at the same time, but routinely do, as the essence and perfumes emanating from 2 different scented lit incenses intermingle and form what? A third unique essence, a third unique perfume. And in this example, our own mundane use of our senses can detect and perceive an occurrence from another realm, dimensions of experience, the olfactory function of our nose. This is the example that dictates an energetic shadow cast in the three-dimensional plane of manifest of an actual occurrence on the soul of the plane. So what does this have to do with your chakras, Moors? Huh? What does it have to do with your chakras? Gratitude for the donations. But in 1992, Propulsion laboratory scientist Richard Holligan presented a briefing to the United Nations on what they found in the Sinian region of Mars. Researching what they found. You got to research this stuff. They found some amazing things. Finding a structure that the DNM pyramid, the face, and the other structures themselves were a foregone conclusion and did not constitute the true significance of the discovery. The real significance was in the mathematical redundancy of the structural measurements. They all center around the number 19.5. And not only did this alone form the intelligent designs, but it also forced them to ask the question, what is the significance of this number? What is trying to tell us? Right? So they began to do comparative analysis, starting with the geographic location of the Cydiana region itself, which lies not far from the largest volcano in the entire solar system, the Olympus Mons. Well, it turns out that the Olympus Mons is exactly 19.5 degrees north latitude on Mars. And the scientists began to look at the other planets for similar occurrences and found that Mount Kilauea in Hawaii, the Great Red Spot on Jupiter, the spot on Saturn, the sunspot activity on the sun, pretty much every planet in the solar system has some sort of geographically anomaly exactly located at 19.5 degrees north or south of the equator. Being that this was alien territory, pardon the pun, that researchers didn't have a point of reference, and so were forced to look to unorthodox methods to formulate the model and explain it. So you got to research that. So, you know our ancient forefathers knew this and codified this information in various ways. When I show y'all the cubes and stuff in more science, when I show you a lot of stuff, the hippocampus and all these signs and symbols, which we did over and over and over, we know who is Elohim. Elohim is the seven creative spirits that created everything that ever was, is, and evermore to be. What are Elohim sometimes called? The seven eyes of Allah. How many days are in a circle? 7 days. How many days are in a creation? 7. According to science, how many days are in a year? 7. The true Allah breathed forth, and behold, 7 spirits stood before his face. The Hebrew calls these 7 spirits Elohim. You can see from above these quotes from Moore's literature, a treasure trove of information being imparted or illuminated. You can see the obvious mathematical redundancy of number 7. You got to understand that in science and in mathematical redundancy is a hallmark of intelligent designs. However, do we explain only 7 days in a year? Of course, we know that there are 7 days in a week. And using theosophical addition, we can arrive at the number 7 again. 7 days in a week, 52 weeks in a year, 52. 5 plus 2 equals 7. But that's way too simplistic. That's too simple. In the biblical book of Genesis, we see that everything in manifest creation happened in 7 days. Yet we know that the mundane world, a day, is a unit of measurement consisting of 24 hours, all of which are determined by the motion of the celestial bodies, right? So how were these days of creation measured? When the celestial bodies, namely our sun per se, according to Genesis, wasn't created until the 3rd day. Ask your preacher that, he'll be lost. He'll be like, well, I think. Ain't nobody ask your goofy ass what you think. The obvious answer is that we're not looking at 24 hours period, but 7 periods of development, 7 aspects of the pleroma in the process of manifestation. In the Moorish literature, these 7 stages, y'all have it, are spoken of as 7 ethers, 7 ether planes, or 7 realms, or 7 worlds of experience. And the Elohim are 7 catalytic initiating processes, which is the creative, the fate, the fiat, the breath forth, the breathing forth, or imitating from the truant Allah. In turn, these 7 energetic imitations, the breathing forth or the breathe forth, with the quantum physicists will call dark matter, substantive darkness, what the Kemetic Egyptian masters will call the nuit or the space, and what the esoteric that albeit secret or the secretly, the Christians refer to as Virgin Mary. And each of these planes are archetypal or the worlds of matter from the most rarefied of the most dense, the virgin, because they had not yet been known or touched by intelligence. I hope y'all follow me. Mind or teeming thoughts of Allah. The substantive material that comprises these planes. It provides the thoughts of Allah with expression and activity on their native planes. And at any rate, I teach that the activity on and in these 7 worlds is governed by these 7 eyes of Allah and these 7 living laws. And it is here we begin to come full circle with what I'm talking about. And we learn in our noble Quran of Mecca in the 2nd surah that Allah informs the angels that he will create a Khalifa. I just broke it down, a successor in the earth, his own presence within his creation. He then creates the successor, man himself, and teaches him the names of everything within creation. He then presents his creation before him, including the angels, and asks the angels to speak on their names. And the angels reply, saying they know nothing of their own names, aka natures. They only know what Allah has told them. Then Allah instructs the man, inform them of their names, and man does. Then Allah commands the whole of creation to bow before the man, and bow before the man, and bow before the man. Okay? This is very significant, as angels only bow to Allah, but with the previously given understanding that man in his original state, first man, is Allah. That's why we say when man honors man, he or she honors Allah, or the presence of Allah within his creation. We have understanding. This teaches the noble Quran corresponds with and complements well with the Prophet's teachings, well with my teachings on the same subjects in chapters 1 and 11 of your Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. In chapter 11, it speaks of his thoughts populating the entire manifest universe on each plane. And yet later in chapter 1, he speaks only of one special thought of Allah, that of himself within his creation, which is man. So we see that the physical part of man was created, as the Quran of Mecca states, a little lower than the angels, yet being ordained to be Lord of all the planes of manifest, yet through being fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things we suffer on the plane of the flesh and on the plane of the soul, we will rise above the angels, put his hand in Allah's own hand, and all is well. But to accomplish this, man, in our present state, we will need the blessings of Allah himself in our endeavor, and the assistance of Elohim as his protectors and his guide, as they are charged to lead to victory. How was this done, Morris? Elohim are the 7 governors of the whole of manifest existence. Each has a name. Each governs an ether plane. These planes are explained earlier in the teachings and are separated by vibratory rate. And each of the Elohim will also have a specific vibration. Vibration on the visible part of the electromagnetic spectrum is what we call color. That's why all the chakras have different colors. Vibration to the audible perception is what we call sound. Each ether has its own laws of physics, and thus is a reflection of the archetypal personality of the Elohim. So here we have the identifiers of the name, the color, the sound, characteristics, and also location. In Kemetic alchemical lore, each of the 7 creative spirits corresponds to one of the 7 atmosphere-bearing planets in our solar system. Each chakra also corresponds to one of these planets. And so, the true rule of mathematical redundancy, we can easily see the connection between the Elohim and the planets and the chakras. So returning to the definition of the word chakra to mean will. All my moochers, all my nobles, all my elementary students say, well, she teaching a wheel. He teaching a cycle. Life is a cycle. You can also see connections via the characteristics of the planets. When I say all the constellations up there is in your brain, they rotate. Taken further, we see through the rediscovery of the multi-dimensional theocradal, that dynamics, that multi-dimensional nature of the planets in our solar system. The rotation allows them to act as a microcosmic conduits for energy from the higher planes of the plane of manifest. That correspondingly family, that correspondingly Moors, setting the chakras in rotation. It gives the exact same function to man within our own body. So are we saying that man is controlled by the planets, the very mundane, and the rude understanding of astrology? Or that man can control the planets? Well, the answer is yes to both. Each chakra is a literal dormant micro wormhole connecting man to the thrones of lordship on each of the 7 planes, governed by the Elohim. And when his will and when her will is one with Allah's will, that ability to command each of the Elohim is equal to that of the truant Allah. For oneness is oneness via the will. Man and Allah will be one. Anything outside of yourself is true shirk. Yet man, in his fallen state, has no real will. That's why we say Ayah Asha Ayah, I will be what I will to be. But yet man, in his or her fallen state, has no real will. Are you following me, Brian? When we say Ayah Asha Ayah, I will be what I will to be. And as such is moved along according to his fleeting wishes and desires, and makes him a victim of his or her own circumstances. See, one man creates his or her own devil. That's why the scripture says, I want the same thing on earth as it is in heaven. You don't have to be dead to have heaven, and you damn sure don't have to be dead to have hell. And yet, through the knowledge of the reality of the 7 Elohim, their name, number, sound, color, characteristics, and using the physical planets for signs to know thyself. Contemplating. See, when I do these little things in academia and business, I say, are you a contemplator or a procrastinator? I hope you know the difference. So contemplating both his frame and the wonders of the microcosmos, and most important, gaining knowledge of his or her evident purpose. that of becoming more human, that of being the vessel of Allah on this earth plane, he or she can then use the above teachings that I'm given, the scientific knowledge, to map his or her path back to the oneness with Allah, opening within him or herself channels of communication with and eventually command over the 7 Elohims, and finally take his or her place amongst his Father, God Allah, as a full representative of him within the manifest world. Right? Right? I got 8 more minutes as I close in your Moorish Quran, chapter 5. Chapter 1, Act 2, and chapter 11, comparative understanding. Comparative understanding. I'm going to break this down and explore Act 2 of our Divine Constitution and Bylaws using Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of our Holy Moorish Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America as tools which our Moorish Quran states in Chapter 5 for further understanding and explanation. As the Act speaks of the symbol we know as the circle and the 7. And I feel it's necessary to first expound briefly on the topic of symbol so that we may have a better appreciation for what our prophet, what I'm communicating to us by presenting us with this symbol. And I say communication or communicate because that is exactly what a symbol does. What is a symbol? These tools remind me of the tools we use in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought and we build up character. Our beloved Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught, truly blessed us with a glimpse into the mind of our Father God Allah himself. As I continue to teach, I teach us true identity of man and our real relationship. And through the complete human anatomy, a part of him clothed with soul inside of flesh, thus giving us intimate knowledge of our true place in the universal scheme of things in this divine plan. As we count time by motion, the action of the seed being cast forth from the heart of Allah on the plane of spirit into the soil of soil, it constitutes the beginning of time, as the truant Allah would count time. Yet man would not know time until seed grew apace. That is, developed a sense of what? Independence, a sense of self-awareness. Man would come to be the Lord of all the plane of soul, a plane of experience and consistence, and consist of the ether of the spirit and the plane vibration, not so fast, where the essence of life is manifest. And those things make up the energetic matrix and framework for what we can see in the carnal, the 3-dimensional world family. That's why the physics of this realm are not the same as they are or appear to be on the plane of manifest. Why? Because as the matter of the plane consists of the perfumes and the odors, the true sensations, and the all of love manifest, which is the body beautifully of man on the soul plane, consists of these essential materials as well. So the subsequently cannot be seen by the carnal eye, but they can be felt, especially by properly exercised senses. And when we see a red octagon, what are the immediate thoughts and feelings that are immediate communicated with that symbology? What is it communicating to you? Why does a solid yellow or gold circle unconsciously curl the corners of your mouth until a smile? Think about this. As thought give rise to feeling and feeling to manifestation, we can observe what is manifest and gain insight into the feeling and the thought that, how can I say it, generated the materialization. That is, family, if we are paying attention That's why we have to recall the vehicles, the bodies on each of these planes of experience and made up the ethers of those planes. So, Moors, when we look at a symbol, we are actually looking at the shadow of a fully functioning man-made entity constructed, formed on the soul plane. Thus, the symbol of the so-called Circle 7 is a complex, a highly technical soul plane organic computer capable of storing, transmitting, and communicating a vast amount of information. A vast amount of information. So what I'm saying is, when you see the circle in that 7, I can break the numerology in it. I got to get my door. Hold on. You see that compass and square in that circle 7? And these people out here operating, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So, as I said, we can observe the manifestation gain. That's why the Circle 7 is a complex, highly technical soul plane organic computer. That's why the Circle 7, all meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The Circle 7, we know, is the signature symbol of the Moorish American Muslim. And opening the meetings promptly according to this sublime symbol reminds us to model and emulate the myriad of lessons this symbol has to communicate to us. And endless volumes can be written on the sheer amount of information conveyed by just this symbol. And as the gifts of understanding are the treasures of Allah, I'm going to give a brief of the portion of Allah's understanding that he deemed pertinent, very important. A graphic representation of perfect man's complete anatomy. In your Moorish Quran, chapter 5, it speaks of the tools we use in the workshop of the mind, right? Right, y'all? For those that say they study their Moorish Quran. So, 2 of them being what? The compass and the square. 2 of them being the compass and the square, which you can clearly see. Our Temple School logo, you see our compass and a square with our fans in the middle. And these tools are said to do what, y'all? To be used to do what? To be used to do what? To build the temple of the perfected man. What the emblem demonstrates graphically is the result of the working tools, namely the construction of the symbol of the spirit, which is the circle, and the symbol for matter, which is the square. This is the combination of the 2 symbols into one squaring circle. When them goofy Moors talk about you can't square your circle and circle your square, yes, you can. The circle and the square both have 360 degrees, just different parameter. You're not a mathematician. You should laugh at them goose. It is the combination of the 2 symbols into one squaring the circle, where the points of the square touch the circle at the cardinal points, symbolized by the breaks in the circle. That represents the completed symbol of the perfected man. Truth, spirit, and falsehood manifest so strangely, mysteriously mixed. The 4 points where the square touches the circle represents a firm, grounded foundation, a spirit into the soil of soul. Indeed, a perfect dwelling for the presence of Allah within his creation. The 7 inside the square circle. A graphic description of man's redemption. See, in this piece of this science, what I'm gonna give y'all, because I'm almost done, I gotta get out of here. Thanks for the donations. Everybody that gave a donation to Cash App, $KG please, if you gave a donation to Cash App, $KG please put your name, your email, in that, I guess in the little introduction, for I can PDF you a couple of pieces of literature. I do that for people when they give donations. I help you build your library. But in this science that I'm giving y'all, the seed that came forth from the heart of Allah and the closed circle. And of course, it's not showing the final symbol. I'm gonna show y'all. It represents the results of man separating himself from the true and Allah and locking himself in the flesh via falling victim to the rashness of the soul sensations. That's why in my new book, The Moorish Salat, I don't have no problem with no Al-Islam person. So don't nobody start making shit up. I tell y'all, I'm a Moor and I don't do things the Orthodox way. I'm a Tasawwuf. So if you are Al-Islam Muslim, that's fine. I don't pray outside of myself. I don't do nothing outside of myself. I don't do no shirk. But you can't show me in your Quran that what you're doing. And I can show you in your Quran the Al-Salat is done for a certain time. And that's for the master. So, but I'm not here to argue with nobody. You can do what you want to do. But experience through the vehicle of the flesh of the plane of manifestation, aka the carnal nature. And the closed circle locked the seed away from the holy breath, which is the barakah of the true and Allah. The marriage of the outer information gathered functions of the soul with the lust of fleshly sensation gave birth to the rise of the carnal nature, or the rulership of the ego or the higher self. That's why I tell everyone, I know most of my Al-Islam brothers don't read, don't study, they get told which tradition. And I said, well, what is the Al-Salat? They can't even tell you. I say, because the Al-Salat is done a certain way. They couldn't even tell you. I don't deal with the peasant stuff. But like I said, I don't have a problem with nobody doing nothing, nobody tell them. I'm a God. I do what the God do. The rise of the carnal nature or the rulership of the ego over the higher self. And thus it is the fixed state of the carnal ego of man that must be solved. Or may solve it. Or may solve it. Or may solve it. As I explained, that this ain't nothing but Kabbalistically speaking. Or may solve it. I just broke this down, y'all. I told y'all. The European agree with me. They students. They ain't nothing but sons. Brought to a state of complete disintegration. The state of complete disintegration is referred to in alchemy as what? Purification. And it's called Negrito or divine death. It is the portion of understanding this state is represented by the breaks in the circle, exactly where the square of feeling, sensation meets, the circle of active imagination, spirit, life, and this death, the dissolving of the soul to matter ties the bound. It ties that bound man down to carnal life. Now allow render the substance of the soul body depliant enough where Allah breathes and life springs forth from death. And the Latin state of the seed, the seven, can now receive the life-giving, the holy breath through the breaks in the circle at the carnal points of his soul body, just as the life-giving rays of the sun penetrates the submissive soil to reach and cause what? Germination. That's why in the morning you see the dew of the earth. Just give me the dew. Unfolding of the seed held within the soil. Also in the Masonic mystery, this wonderful process told to us by our prophet in the plainest of language is referred to as King Solomon at the high noon, raising the body of Haram from a dead horizontal to a living perpendicular, straight to hell up, with strong grip of the lion's paw, with strong grip of the lion's paw, sun exalted in the Leo, on the square, man free from the fleshly and sensational confines of his own making, thus resurrected. Our prophet, as I continue to teach, through the delivering of this symbol that I'm teaching, connected us to the very timeless tradition and inner life that was taught to the elite in the Egyptian in the Kemetic school of Helophilus. Just like my members and students, I say this is not high science, this elementary. The European, the Negro Masons ain't nothing but 32 and 33 degrees wisdom. That's in meteorology when water freeze. They ain't nothing but fucking snowmen. And when your own brother that look like me, a Freemason, and won't even wear his fez in real time, you know it's no science. Period. The European to tell you that they are son of a Muslim all day long. But by Helophilus, by which the biblical Jesus physically realized and demonstrated a return to the original state of man. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on Friday the first man was formed in the flesh, and on Friday the first man departed out of the flesh and ascended to his father, God Allah. For that cause Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Chapter 1 and 11 of our Moorish Holy Quran are quite comparable, both complementing each other, both complement each other, and providing mutual commentary and understanding for the other. Chapter 1 speaks of the three planes, the spirit, the soul, the manifest. Chapter 1 and chapter 11. I can show y'all a graphic representation. Look, man. See, they stand on their knees. They started off like that, but if I teach you, we come up. The I am, the Om, the God come into one. The Kumbaya, the Kum, the Ba, and the Ya really means stand up and arise. Not no come by here, stand up and arise. And when you and I'm on my prayer rug, and I show you how I do my Al Salat, standing up. This is just a fact. I don't care what nobody do Orthodox. I ain't never say I was Orthodox. Period. But I have a clear understanding. Chapter 1 and 11, you can compare them, providing mutual commentary and understanding for the other. Chapter 1 speaks of the three planes, the soul, the spirit, manifest, right? Chapter 11 speaks of the seven planes, angel, cherubim, man, beast, plant, earth, protoplasm. Chapter 1 speaks of what? Chapter 1 speaks of Allah, the one. And chapter 11 speaks of what? The true in Allah and the seven Elohims. Chapter 1 speaks of one thought of Allah, his thought of man. And chapter 11 speaks of the seven ether planes of experience, literally teeming with unique thought of Allah that are outer than man or other than man, that will unfold into perfection of its own kind and none other. Chapter 1 speaks of the carnal nature that sprang forth from the soul experience of sensation through the vehicle of flesh, right? Come on. Chapter 11. What other school would you want to go to? Speaks of man's sluggish will being the catalyst of and the rise of the carnal nature. Thanks for the donation, Noble. Being the result of the fall. And it is their original state. All creatures on all planes sustain, nourish their bodies via what? Breathing. Yet the fall caused the stronger manifest, right? To get nourishment directly, devouring the weaker manifest. So if we symbolize, if you have a pictorial in your hippocampus, or draw up a graphic representation of both chapters, superimposed on each other, mean right on each other, superimposed on each other when you do the circle and the square, we get the 10 realms, the spheres spoken of in chapter 11. Superimposed over 3 in chapter 1. 3 spheres, the true in Allah, wisdom, will, and love on the spirit plane, 6 on the soul plane, and 1 on the plane of manifest. And so when you see this diagram or this symbology, it will look like the what? What it would look like. If I can draw, I'll draw the Kabbalistic tree for you, or the tree of life. And yet we are Moorish American Muslims. And this teaching was gleaned from our prophet's literature. And so we are not Moors discussing Hebrew Kabbalah, but Moors discussing Islam as taught by our prophet Noble Drew Ali. Are you following me? So when you take this diagram, you can find that if we number the 10 spheres, the sixth sphere, a lot. Because I told people I can have the circle 7 and teach you law, teach you local law, state law, all law, teach you everything with the Quran. I can teach you the Bible with the Quran. I can teach you law governs all of it with the Quran with no problem. I don't need no other book. Silent Brotherhood of the East, every book you want to come with, I can break it down. I can use the Bible to do the same thing. Period. It's just what it is, because law governs all events. I don't know what nobody told nobody. But the 10 spheres, the 6th sphere, counting from the top 3, would be situated exactly in the middle of the region, or the soul plane. For reference purpose, the Hebrews call this plane what? The Tifrith, or the Tifrath. We also find the 9th plane. You know, when I show y'all, man, look, man, we also find the 9th plane, the sphere, intersecting the border, dividing the soul plane and the plane of manifest, and the 10th sphere, solidly located at the plane of manifest. So chapter 11 informs the student that the truant Allah appointed the 7 Elohims to weave the elaborate virgin soul material that becomes the blueprint for all of the manifest beings, the respiratory for the teeming thoughts of Allah to manifest, to grow and unfold. Chapter 1 informs us that the one very special thought of Allah, the thought of his own presence within his own creation. That's in the Noble Quran, Surah 2, 30 and 34. It casts forth into what? The soil of soul. And it grew apace, gaining self-awareness and lordship in the 6th period. In the 6th period, counting a total of 7 periods, stages, days of creation within the circle. Right? Imitating from the top, coming from the top 3 spheres, the true and Allah. This 6th, or this is our 6th day, or the 6th period in the schemata of manifest creation. So how the universe is populated by Allah's thoughts. Chapter 1 tells us that upon the boundary of the plane of soul, the essence took on a final garb. And we find the 9th sphere situated on that boundary, with the 10th sphere firmly within the plane of manifest. In the Aramaic language, the numbers are the letters. And so it should not surprise us that 1 equals Alf. Alf and 10 equals Yah / Yad, or mathematical deception of Allah, the one on the highest plane of the spirit life, represented by the first of the highest trinity of the spheres that the Hebrews call Kether, and his presence within the manifestation or the manifest creation, represented by the 10th or the last sphere that the Hebrews call Malkuth or Maluch, called by our prophet and in our Quran, Mecca, the Caliph, referring to the first man. That's why when I talk about palindrome words, when I talk about a palindrome word, when I talk about the Yoso Somos code, watch this. A palindrome word is the same thing to the right as it is to the left. So when I say Hayah, and you got Hayah, you got Y in the middle, right? Hayah, you got Yah to the right, and you got Yah to the left. That's a palindrome word. That's mirror itself. That's the Yoso Somos code. I'll teach y'all that later. I done taught that a plethora of times. So when you see that so-called triangle with them 3 circles connecting with each other, when I show you graphs per se, and I'm closing. And thanks for the donations, everybody. But the grand and glorious truth communicated about this is again given in the plainest language in Act 2 of our divine constitution and bylaws, where we are taught very briefly yet thoroughly that the first man of these, Adam, because remember he said he named them Adam, were not born of a woman, but formed in the flesh of the 6th day, and did not die, but voluntarily disintegrated the flesh vessel, or departed out of the flesh. Again, on the 6th day, thus demonstrating the almighty truth about man, that there is no death to man. And while Allah lives, man cannot die. and in the prompt opening and closing of our meetings according to our principles embodied in our Moorish Quran, our Circle 7, guiding ourselves in our fallen state by our 5 principles, which is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. On this most auspicious day, we participate in our own Moorish American way in the practice of perfection and nearness to our great God Allah. That's why I say get off your knees when I say the Moorish Salat. I don't have a problem with a religious or Orthodox Muslim, but I'll tell you, I ain't Orthodox. I do things the Moorish way. If I'm going to do my Salat, I do my Al Salat. It's just what it is. I have no disrespect to no one. Islam. Come on. That's how this go. The 6th chapter, the everlasting gospel, the 5 points on the timeless cosmetic philosophy from the Moorish perspective. What is the everlasting gospel? That's the saving power that comes from Allah through our ancient fathers by his prophet. Man, when I go home and go back and teach, man, I'll be at the YMCA, it be packed. I get hundreds of donations. And then when I'm done, I give them all the books. They like, you done gave us books that's worth thousands of dollars, and we only gave you $25 donation. I said, because that's what a teacher does. You come to one of my lectures and get $25 or $50, you're going to get hundreds of dollars of wisdom. You're going to get my books and books that you like. You're going to be like, man, I only gave a $25 donation. Look what I got in return. Not only the word, but information, but literature, but wisdom. How much you say you donated? 25. And people be giving all way more to churches and things mean nothing. Look what I do. Please, man. The 5 point is cause without cause only. It's without form and is consequently beyond human perception, the unthinkable. There is but one Allah, the author, the creator, the governor, the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. That's in your Moorish Quran, chapter 35, verse 1. Ain't nobody doing this. People that's asking for donations. I don't do that. I have real muftis. We getting ready to have our 3rd annual Moorish Ball. We have real companies. I help real people help set their temples and schools up. I help them do this in real life all day for small donations. Everywhere he is the causeless cause, the rootless root from which all things have grown. That's your Moorish Quran, chapter 10, verse 19. That's why the first axiom, rightly being the first direction of your mind toward our true origin, that of the truly unknowable. That's what it's all about. And this attuning our attention to this being the process of connecting or reconnecting or resurrecting ourselves to the source. The scripture says, how can a man say he loved God he never seen, but hate his brother he see or she see every day? What do your 101 say? What is a prophet and what is an angel? Because I'll freaking wait. What do your 101 say? What is a prophet and what is an angel? Somebody wait. And then they say you can't make an image of somebody because they're giving you a false damn image of the Messiah. What do our 101s clearly state what a prophet and an angel consist of? I'll wait. It cannot be fully or completely described, explained, but it can be directly experienced. And this is the definition of gnosis, aka genosis. Man, the European to tell you, man, I'm part of the Philosophical Research Society. I have a lot of elders that work at Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford. If you ever watch Bobby Hemmett and listen to him speak, he'll talk about a lot of those Gnostic libraries that's at those at Harvard and Cambridge. But they'll talk about the books and hold them up. But I have them all. And I share them with my people and offer them for pennies on the dollar that Amazon try to sell for stacks. Or other places don't have them. I have them for pennies on the dollar. The stuff that they be talking about, Bobby, if you ever watch Bobby Hemmett, he talk about the Gnostic libraries in the basements of Harvard and Cambridge and Oxford, where I go to them. I'm members of them. I told you I'm a member of the Philosophical Research Society. That's in Las Vegas. That's in California. I'm telling you, I'm transparent. I'm transparent. We are informed via the cosmic philosophy, everlasting gospel, that the pleroma, all that is composed of, right? Impenetrable and indivisible or informal. All the stuff we should know, right? That's why formal, and that the manifest powers of that which is to be clothed, and the forces of integral substance, which is in cosmic order. The seamless garments of the informal are co-eternal and capable of being co-equal. That is to say, the spiritual, the intellectual, and the vital powers of integral substance properly involved and unfolded are equal to the manifest forces and the cause without cause. And this is cosmic equilibrium. This is cosmic equilibrium. If I can go over to the Europeans and be on campus and they don't want me to leave and they give donations and I be on there and giving them books for pennies of a dollar and they build their library and they tell their parents, damn, that's sad if my own people don't. Therefore, the unfolding perfection of that which is to be clothed, the overseer of which is man, is what the entire manifest creation depends upon for its own perfect unfolding evolution. In other words, family, since it was the sluggish will of man that caused the fall in the first, the everlasting gospel dictates the self-evolution of, in man, is the true worship. And the second point as I close, that forms of all states and of all worlds, as of all the inhabitants, are attributes, their emanations and formations. The true Allah breathed forth and stood 7 spirits before his face. The Hebrew called these 7 spirits Elohim, and these are they who, in their bounds, in their boundless powers, created everything that is or was. That's in your Moore's Quran, chapter 11, verse 20 and 21. The Egyptian educated the Greek philosophies. That's why George G.M. James wrote Stolen Legacy. It's all stolen legacy. They declare God forever geometrizes. That is to say, the causeless cause forever seeks expression, manifestation, and therefore constructs via a series of 7 primary emanations, a blueprint for its teeming thoughts to manifest, to express. And the result of this blueprint, this creative fiat, this fate, is what we call the 7 eyes of Allah, or the 7 Elohims family. Just as white light is one, yet it's composed of 3 primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. And these primary colors combine to produce 3 more, which is green, orange, and violet, for a total of 7 emanations or components. Yet the whole white light is greater than the sum of its parts, the 7 emanations. So is the causeless cause. As one whole reality greater than the sum of its parts, its emanations and manifestations. That's why the universal Allah is one, yet he is more than one. All things are one, family. Are we clear? The axiom of the Hebrew Kabbalah perspective literally jumps the gap, the daf, the first 3 Sifrath, the spheres of experience, to the remaining 7. I hope we catching this. It represents representatives of the causeless cause. I asked y'all, what do our 101 says a prophet and what our 101 says an angel is? I'll tell you, an angel is a thought of Allah manifest in a human flesh. Right? So as I close, man, I thank y'all for being here, man. I got to get out. But if y'all didn't get my one of my latest books, The Divine Pattern of the Mosaic Tabernacle and the Moorish Salat, I hope you do. In gratitude, like I said, if you gave donations to Cash App $KG Bay, if you gave a $20 to $5 donation to Cash App $KG Bay, man, I'll PDF you like 5 of my books. I have no problem. You Cash App $KG Bay and put your email in there. I'm a PDF you my book, The Divine Pattern of the Mosaic Tabernacle. I'll PDF you Divine Creed of Moorish Science. I'll teach you my book about teach you about what the Moorish fetish consists of, and I'll send you an extra book. I can do that, and I have a whole bunch of expensive books. So every time I lecture and teach things, if you give a donation, I'm gonna give you literature. I really hope more. Really please come to my systematic classes because I teach adapt class every Saturday privately on Zoom with my members, and every Sunday I teach Sunday school. Today I would just, imparting wisdom. But I want Morris to come to class so you can learn systematically, so I can build you up the right way. And you can get literature. You can get everything for you can study on your own. And if you don't want to be a member yet, just $25 a week, you can come to class and be my private guest. You should want to be a member because you can be a member for less, like $100 a month. We ask members for $200 a month, which is $7 a day for a month. But if Morris don't have that, that's fine. But everything you get with being a member is way more valuable than any dollar that you'll give up. And why would we want to give all our money to Uncle Sam? And the law say, if you're not going to give it to your religious and scientific organization of your choice, you're going to willingly give it to Uncle Sam with your taxes. And you can do that through us with your charitable contributions. And I can give you a tax exempt receipt at the end of the year for all your charitable donations to offset what you'll get at Uncle Sam. Man, I come to Chicago. Man, I be in Chicago all the time. No, I've been in Chicago. A lot of Moors. See, how I come, I don't like to talk about myself because a lot of time when I come, a lot of people don't know that I already have like people in certain areas. And I'd have been in Chicago. I popped up in a temple. I sat in the back with one of my empresses. And them brothers don't even know each other in Chicago. Yep, I don't know how to type it in there. It's Cash App $KG Bay, Noble. Cash App $KG Bay. I don't even know how to type in this thing yet. I gotta ask one of my muftis I don't know how to type on YouTube. I'll figure it out. I don't know how to do it. I'll figure it out. But I done been to Chicago, God, Noble, and them goofs don't even know each other. I'm finna show you something before we leave. I'm about to show you something before I leave. But I'd have been in Chicago, man. Them Moors don't even know each other. You might have 4 or 5 temples in Chicago, and all them Negroes talking something different. I say that shit is crazy. All of them got something different. All of them got some different rhetoric. All of them saying to file some paperwork and do all this. I already showed y'all how Love Elner was lying. Talk about some 1099, some trust fund at the end of the rainbow. I showed the paper. I told y'all I don't give a shit about no old fool. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. When you lying and I can prove it real fast, everybody with you is lying. I show y'all that no 1099 ain't no trust fund at the end of the rainbow. That ain't nothing but a religious fucking affidavit. And you can research it at the CCRD. That's the County Clerk Recorder of Deeds. If you want the official one with a seal on it, it only costs $10. If you want it from me, I'll PDF you the shit. I'll PDF it to you. All my mooses got it. If you on my Temple and School page, because I'm on Instagram as well. My Temple and School have an Instagram page. It's burningbushtabernacle.ts. I send a letter to everybody. This right here, the state booklet. See, I know Negroes in Chicago. And this right here, them brothers done did a whole bunch of fake ass tax evasion shit. I ain't gonna say their names, but I tell y'all, if their names come up, I bet you they ain't gonna say shit to me. I bet you them Negroes gonna be like, yeah, he real. Yeah, we know. Cause see, they can't lie on the prophet because this shit free information. The state booklet is valid, but the Negroes that put it together, them Negroes fake taxes, all that shit. And then you go on them raggedy ass temples, man, they don't even be having no running water. The electricity be off. See, I started talking about them stinking ass crack house temples in Chicago. Real shit. Them Negroes being their bums, eating Oreo cookies and shit. You go in there, you be like, damn, I feel like I'm back in the early 80s. Shit, raggedy is hell. I ain't gonna call out the name of these goofy, dirty niggas in Chicago. I don't operate like that. And I ain't hating on nobody. I'm just saying that ain't how we operate. Here go the letter from the CCRD. Telling them that they lying. I'm telling you, they ain't gonna come to me with that trash. This is in 2016. The Sheik Lionel Love L. Sheik is more to D Love L. When they talk about some line at 1099. You hear me? Let me listen to this. Listen to this last 7. It says, is the office aware that the unauthorized issuance and collections of funds resulting from said issuance constitutes a breach of registered fiduciary duty as custodian, criminal fraud, embezzlement, etc. Here go the response. Your position is legally and factually incorrect. Please see the relevant statutory authority reference above. In some of your other correspondence, you indicate that the CCRD has refused to file certain real estate and non-real estate related documents and index them under Trust 1010-5905. To be clear, document 1010-5905 is not no fucking trust document. This document is simply an affidavit of organization under the Religious Corporation Act. What this means is that the document serves as a record that the Moorish Science Temple of America is organized, incorporated as a religious corporation under the Religious Corporation Act. The CCRD is not a trustee of any trust or trust assets maintained by or for the benefit of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That responsibility lies with the Moorish Science Temple of America. And if you are having difficulty recording certain documents in our office, please refer to the recording requirements referred in the legally authorized cited above. They ain't nothing but holders of what the hell you say. So what they have ain't shit but an old raggedy ass building. Check. They done. They liars, all of them, every last one of them. And so here goes some of my books I put together. I put a like a little healthy eating book together. I'm just showing you the covers. Then I got my book, Healthy Living and Eating, when I got a lot of my workouts and smoothies that I like to make. I got a book called Moorish Scholars Who Debunk Eurocentric Propaganda, Gathered and Compiled. My elementary students love this. My elementary students love that book. Esoteric Science of the Moorish Fez. Esoteric Science of the Moorish Fez. 14 famous Asiatics who debunk 14 famous Asiatic scientists in history. I put all these books together years ago. I done lectured over a plethora of colleges, all places. That's why I said I can care less dealing with Moors. Look at my other book, Interpretation of the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. And we converted a plethora of books. So you don't have to go to certain places and pay thousands of dollars for books. If y'all go on my IG page, y'all, and check me out and check out Moorish Haberdasher and the Burning Bush Tabernacle and all my pages and see all the books that I converted to PDF that cost hundreds and thousands of dollars. And then we teach them. I travel all over. Moors don't be know how to get a fez, and they see me. All my moves got clean, beautiful fezzes. I teach the Quran. I be telling Moors to be students. Why would you go to a temple and give donations and you don't want to become a member and a student? And I'm not just no more. I'm an educator in real life, a counselor, all that in real life. All that. Educated in real life. Have all the literature for any more, not just the Moorish Quran, all the books that go with the Moorish Quran. Moors don't even be having a Silent Brotherhood of the East. Moors don't even be having a Quranic study guide. How you got the Quran and don't have the Quranic study guide to go with the Quran? How you don't have the catechism to understanding the Quran? Why you don't have the Discover Key questionnaires? What are you learning? What are you learning? A whole bunch of paper terrorist shit? That's why them Farahs ain't gonna come to me with that. They know better. They know better. I operate under the law, all law. And my word is bond. And if somebody gonna say they got the keys to fallen humanity, well, ain't nothing secret. People be holding up books. Like I told y'all, I have books that Moors will hold up on, be talking that cost thousands of dollars. And I'm like, where you gonna get the book from? Go on my PDF books, I got it. when I be lecturing, I told y'all, it's a book that Amor be holding up all the time, my empress said, and it's called The Unknown Arab. I had to go on my file. I said, let me go on my file and see what you're talking about. And I said, this book, The Unknown Arab? She said, yeah, he always holding up that book. She said, you got that book? I said, if I'm an educator, and I told you I'd have been all over, and I connected to a lot of Gnostic libraries and things, and I get stuff given to me, why you think somebody gonna have a book that they pay $100 for that I don't fucking have? Most of the stuff be given to me. I convert the shit to PDF, so you ain't gotta be all going on Amazon and buy no book for no stupid ass paper, and then you lose it, or can't help nobody else, or can't give it to nobody else. That's a real NFT. So The Unknown Arab is probably out of print. You get it from me, PDF. Print it. Go to Office Max or Staples. They'll print it like this. I used to buy books for people, but I had to stop. When you talk about Russian Icon by Vladimir Ivanov, I got all those books. When you talk about melanin, the chemical element to black people, that's out of print on Amazon, try to charge you $1,100 for. Tavistock Institution of Human Engineering, they try to charge $4-5 grand. All those expensive books I convert to PDFs. And Negroes and they don't want to do that, while Europeans be laughing at y'all. They like, we ain't going to buy no paper books. You're like, we just print them. They on campus, they get all their college books from me for a plethora of $1. And then Negroes will try to scam me. They'll try to get Exhumed of the Nation, say, oh, I thought it was the hard copy. Man, I'm letting you get the book for $75. PDF, go to Office Max and Staples and they'll bind it for you. Why would you want the paper? Why would you want to spend $230 on Amazon? Why wouldn't you want to get that from Amor and you say you Amor? You ain't that smart to go to fucking Office Max or Staples and print it or download it in your tablet? Ain't nobody traveling with a whole bunch of fucking books in their backpack. I don't understand us. And I want the paper book. Oh, I said, well, so go print it. What's so hard with that? And you save money and you doing business with Amor. That's how the shit circulate. And all Europeans helping me do what I'm doing. All Europeans call me Jeff Bezos and thank me for providing these expensive books, converting them to PDF. And then Negroes talk about, oh, I want the hard copy. You ain't finna go buy no books for no $400-500. Yeah. But spend $250 on some dumbass shoes. Thank you, God. And I ain't talking about I'm talking about these Moors that be all holding up the books. I said, your ass ain't read Exhumed of the Nation. I'm like, Exhumed of the Nation, damn near 600 some pages. I think let's go from chapter to chapter. Moors just be buying shit to put that shit on their shelf. And them goofy ass niggas be lost. Because if they did, the introduction of Exhumed of the Nation tell your dumb ass that nobody can nationalize you and denationalize you. If they can nationalize you, tell them niggas to nationalize the Chinese or Sudanese. They can't. All fucking fugazi. So I asked my brother, why would you, you want to go buy a book off Amazon for $230? And look what I bought off Amazon for $230. That's dumb. And the more got the books and converted everything to PDF, you can print them and bind them. That shit don't even make sense. And then I should say the goofy lady name, I wish I had her name, tried to buy the book from me on my page, on my company page, and then ask for a return. Well, I thought the book was hard copy. And then my people jumped on her page like, are you fucking stupid? It say mypdfbooks.com, fucking dumbass lady. See, I know what these niggas be doing. And that's why I go to fuck off on them. And I don't do business with niggas. I do not like doing business with niggas. The worst thing, one nigga is two. I don't call them dirty Moors because that's too good of a title. I call you a nigga. Point blank. Because why would you think it's a printed book and it's mypdfbooks.com and it's the whole book and you have it in your tablet? Say if you got a book for $230 and it got all wet and it got wasted, you lost $230. You can't go back and say, oh, my book got all wet. Can I get another one? You have the book from me, PDF. You can go print and bind another fucking book. You can go, it's a phrase, I got to find it, Noble, and how people just buy books with no intentions of reading them. Because if they did, no, I promise you, they wouldn't be doing the shit they doing. Motherfuckers just be buying this dumbass book right here. And I just illuminated, I showed y'all our prophet didn't tell you to go to no city hall and get no wife. All that shit is fugazi. I just broke the shit down very eloquently. I just broke the shit down, show you that the 1099 is fake shit. And these Moors telling you this. I never have no problem going on college campus, man. And I tell y'all, dealing with Europeans providing all these books, when I pull up the projector and I pull up my database with all my books, and I let all these students get books for me for $5. That costs thousands of dollars on Amazon. Thousands of dollars on Amazon. Every Wednesday I'm on campus, I distribute 11 books to college students for $5 and $7. You do the math. I do that for college students because I'm not going to be taxing these college students. I do this for them to help them out in their studies. And they write about me and they tell a family. That's what I do. Even college books, them college, I don't give a fuck how much they cost, $5 or $7. And I say, you can donate whatever. And of course they donate way more because I lecture on there. Like a lot of college students are part of the student union and they get funds to have lecturers come. That's how I'm on college every week. And that's how I do all this. That's what I went to the university for. And so if other people that don't look like me love me and let me teach their children and let me teach them metaphysics and science and masonry and history and train them and all this, my brothers don't want to deal with me. All the books and all the wisdom that I have that people say they want to study and read and be like, oh, I want that book. I want that book. You can get it from me for fucking pennies at $1. Because right now on my company page, you can get Exhumed of the Nation for $75. If you connected to me right now, if you want Exhumed of the Nation right now for me, you can get Exhumed of the Nation for me for $40. Personally for me right now, personally for me, if you want Exhumed of the Nation, the book, you can get that shit for me today, personally for me for $40. And go right to Office Max and Staples and print it. Right now, if anybody want it, $40. You can get Exhumed of the Nation. I'll PDF you that shit just like that. With no problem. If you serious and if you jump in my inbox, because my people control my inbox, I'll give you my email on here. It's Goodman, GOODMAN KHARY at gmail.com. That's GoodmanKari@gmail.com. If you want Exhumed of the Nation, like I said, $40. If you gave all them other donations, I'm gonna give you all this stuff. I'm gonna give you all this stuff. I'm gonna give you all this stuff. Like I said, if you donate $25, I'm already gonna give you all those books I said. If you want Exhumed of the Nation, you add an extra $40. You get all that. Exhumed of the Nation on Amazon is $230. So right there, you won. So I love everybody, man. I give gratitude and thank you for listening to me for this little bit of time. Please, man, I would like you to come to Sunday school and adapt class. I will want you to come to class to learn systematically how I teach systematically. I will want you to come to adapt class to learn. So with that being said, Moors and family, I love y'all. Peace, light, and illumination. Peace.